Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. And today I am featuring our Abbey defense. This will be one of 3 videos that I upload eventually on Abbey, focusing on the 3 different ways that enemies attack this strategy and the ways that we beat them. Most of them are similar. So the strategy is quite simple. We basically fake it down the 8 line, hold it, and force them to either push our cap, push down the 7 line, or push down the 8 line. And today you'll see which strategy the enemy tries to use. Please excuse my driving. I am still very laggy as I'm recording this video. It looks like it's going to take Staples about 3 or 4 days to get this RAM issue fixed. Thank you to everybody who's been trying to help me, and I apologize to everybody who I crash into while I'm lagging. So we set up sort of with a crossfire here. If I zoom out, we're going to set up some E3s right behind these tanks, and they're going to be looking down. And then we're going to jam up the very narrow point. If you take a look at the mini-map, right around there, we're going to jam up with some version 4s and some fast heavies. The rest of the team, the last 5 vehicles, you can see we have a VKK on the corner. This is actually the first time we're using it. We have a E3 all the way in the back. We got an E3 kind of in this divot, and this helps protect AC if they push hard through. And we're going to get a Chieftain on the ramp with the E3. This is really going to jam up our cap circle. And despite, they could push 15 tanks through there and they'd still have a difficult time. So, let's talk about this strategy a little bit more for a second. So, we know that this group is holding. But what if they do push 15 tanks onto our cap? Well, these E3s will turn around and they can actually shoot the cap circle, not quite perfectly, but from this location they can also move up. And then we have all of these fast heavies, which can immediately push and threaten their cap circle. That's scenario 1 that they might push through. If they push through low side, these E3s are still going to be able to shoot from the corner. Ed Death, who's actually playing that location over there, and if we zoom in, and Rocket XJ, they're in cover. So the enemy team has to push all the way past AC and past Lord Thomas, currently, who's playing the little alcove, and the E3s, who are going to be pushing through here, just to get to them. And the E3 where Twisted is playing, Twisted Up, is also going to have shots. So that's one hell of a crossfire. Now, the third option is that the enemies want to push down the 8 line. What'll happen is that the E3s will spot that, and they will start shooting. Any enemy that comes around the corner is going to have to contend with an arty strike, and all of these tanks that are stacked up waiting for them. And the one Chieftain, which I always play, in the middle here. The reason I like to play a Chieftain here is because I need to have an accurate vehicle to be shooting this cap circle if I want to be. And so why you could just say that any Chieftain could play there. Well, yes, however, it's important that the collar has radio range over the entire map so that I can see where all of my tanks are and how much health they have and where they're deploying to. If I can't see that, it makes it more difficult, and I have to rely on verbal communication rather than visualizing or seeing the battle for myself. So, I know this is just a battle replay, but it's a quick tip for callers. If you're a caller, you need to be with the main group. You have to be, or in a position where you can clearly see what's going on. You can't just see from a mini-map perspective. You need to be able to see the tank itself. Mini-maps are very deceiving, and sometimes they don't update if you're out of radio range, so the more tanks you can keep in there, the better. And that's why I like to play with the main group. If you want to play arty as a caller, that works really well, because you can focus on, you're shooting your one shot and then reload. So now we see which strategy the enemy is going to try, and that's going to be push up the 7 line. And that's actually the rarest one we've run into, maybe accounting for probably about 10% of what we face. About probably 60% is them trying to push on our cap circle, and 30% pushing down the 8 line. So now the enemy is in quite a predicament, and let's pause it here and take a look at what they're dealing with. So the enemy has now pushed up, and they now realize, because AC took a big chunk out of one of them, that they have a lot more to deal with. So the enemy is going to start to stutter, and this is a problem that our class has a problem with too, is maintaining our pushing discipline, staying together and focusing on the task at hand, rather than just spreading apart. And you're going to see what the enemy team does. So you can see right now they've stopped. That's mistake number 1. They're in an open field. So, and they've got a tank, myself, shooting behind him. And now they have recognized that there is a large force pushing them. So they're in quite a predicament here. Let's let this battle play out. The team is going to run into a little bit of an issue dealing with that 279E down there. And now you can see some other things. The 279E has gone to the back. That's a tank you definitely don't want in the rear. And now they've spread out. You've got a 279E hiding behind the rock. You've got these two 279s heading back. You've got a 140 who attempted to go to the cap circle. And that's going to completely halt that push and put them down 8, 9, 10,000 HP. Right as I spoke there, we went up 3,000. Now, while the enemy team is taking a little bit of damage, I am going to just drop the arty strike there because we don't want to have to dig that tank out. Now, what I just did there is a little risky, because if the enemy were to really get on that cap circle, I would not have an arty to stop it. However, I felt that our team could easily deal with that. Now that 279's backing up, we're 5-0, and look at our team on the cap circle. We managed to get every tank to push over there. Now, are we really intending to cap out when we do this? Capping is a gift if we get it. The main idea is to draw tanks away from our cap circle so that we can finish that off and ensure that we have an overmatch. It also wastes time. Attacking when you're on defense, getting on the enemy cap circle, often causes problems for the enemy because they're not expecting it. They don't set up for defense, therefore they spread their tanks out a little more, or they don't set them up as they normally would. So what happened is that 278 started heading back. The chieftains who were in the middle had to rotate back through the Abbey to shoot the cap, and that allowed our team by the cap circle, the E3s came back, and everybody else who was there before, to basically just run through everything that was over there. You can see they just pushed straight through the cap circle, and every tank that made that push down the 7 line is pretty much dead. At this point, it's just cleanup. I'm going to get a good snapshot on the EBR. I was anticipating him coming there. And now it's just cleanup time. At this point, once we're up 10, we're up 13,000, 13,500 now, it's just free play. So everybody kind of goes and does what they want. And I'm going to engage this chieftain. He over-angles a little bit there. I'm going to angle my corner, trying to get my track to absorb some of it. No idea if that actually helps or not. I like to think it does. Fortunately, didn't pen him there. Not really sure what I hit. Maybe it was a observation port. And as we cap out, I don't get a shot on the chieftain, but I do finish with quite a bit combined. Let's take a look at the post game.